Blaire White came out with a new one here about a week ago. I read JK Rowling's transphobic book, so you don't have to. This should be good, given Blaire White's attitudes and the attitudes expressed by by Rowling. So this should be fun. 10 minutes for her to talk about the book. Let's see what she has to say. So, Ms. White, take it away. Let's just have your cake and eat it too.
Well, what I would like is for people to not buy this book.
You haven't read the book, have you?
No.
So that's not an argument. Um, the argument of don't buy this book has nothing to do with the quality of the book. When we say don't buy the book, don't buy Harry Potter merch, don't go see the apparently the third uh, Fantastic Beasts movie is being made, don't go see that. If you, for some reason, don't own the original seven Harry Potter books and need a hard copy of them for some reason, don't buy them new. As I understand, thrift shops are actually being inundated with them as people decide to they don't want them anymore, so they're giving them to thrift shops. So again, if you absolutely need your physical copies of the original seven Harry Potter books, you haven't bought them in the last 20 years, then go to a thrift shop because then Rowling doesn't get any of it. This is why we say don't buy her books, don't buy her merch, don't buy because she benefits from that. She profits from that relationship, that purchase. So saying you haven't actually read the book is not an argument. It doesn't matter. The book could be the most well written story with amazing characters and vibrant set. It doesn't matter. You're supporting a transphobe if you buy those books. So if you consider yourself an ally or are yourself trans or some other marginalized group, you are doing harm by purchasing those books. Even the minuscule harm of giving her the $2 or whatever that she gets from your purchase of the book. Obviously, this is a lot of individualism, like the individual having an impact. But I mean, the individual action taken as a group can do things. So it's not an argument to say you haven't actually read it, so telling people not buy the book is pointless. Doesn't matter how good the book is. It supports a transphobe. True, Crockett. Yep.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I know the amount of pink in this video is a little bit obnoxious. This is actually post-birthday decorations. I had a surprise party. I turned 27 a few days ago, which is about 80 in tranny years, but we won't talk about that. So I genuinely cannot believe I'm here making a third JK Rowling video. If there has been one person—
Lies. I mean, granted, I can't hate on her too much for going where the clicks are. Every content creator does the same thing. But I can't tell if she's seriously like, I can't believe people are still talking about this, or if she's just like, because of course people are still going to talk about J.K. Rowling. She has arguably the biggest media franchise, certainly the biggest media franchise that was created in the last 20 years, and one of the biggest book series probably ever. I don't want to underestimate Tolkien or anything, but the reach of the Harry Potter series has been massive, and I can't think of any other book series that has had this big of a cultural impact that is still popular. I mean, just as one example, yeah, we'll just. This is probably one of the biggest fan fiction sites on the website, on the internet. So let's give you an example. This whatever 149 one. If we go down here to Harry Potter, uh, what? What? I mean, I know they have Harry Potter fan fiction here. Is this one of those things where it's... There we go. Okay, it was on the wrong side. 259,000 stories. And many of them will have updated today. Like, this one updated today. Right? It's still the 29th. Yes. Updated today. Updated today. Updated today. Updated today. Updated today. Updated today. Somehow updated tomorrow. Updated today. Like, this is still a wildly popular series, not just in media, not just in movies or what have you. Like, people are still involved in this fandom. So, suffice it to say, that's a long winded way of saying that Blaire White being surprised that people are still talking about JK Rowling is a little ridiculous, a little disingenuous.
Person, I thought I pissed off the trans community more than anyone else on the planet. JK Rowling has taken that spot. This is the third transphobic controversy that the author has found herself in. This time it's not about any tweets that may or may not be out of context we can go back and forth about. This is not about who she's following on Twitter, as if that's ever a valid reason to cancel someone. Anyways, this time everyone is up in arms about her new book being released called Troubled Blood. And just a heads up, I read the book. I spent the last 12 hours reading it as an ebook.
This is the one that is about a cis man who dresses as a woman to kill people, right?
Book, and so the opinions you're going to hear today are from someone who is not just, on Twitter hearing what other people have to say and hopping on a bandwagon. This is because I read the book. Now people are calling the book trans.
So whether she does anything explicit about trans people in the novel itself, that doesn't matter. I know there was someone who posted a bit of a troll. I got the opportunity to read J.K. Rowling's new book, and it was an obvious transphobic writing as a joke, as this is what people expect the book to be. I don't remember the exact wording, and I couldn't find it now if I tried. But basically, it was like, I hope, no one inspects no one is going to stop me from going into this bathroom because I'm wearing a wig despite my 5 o'clock shadow or whatever. Dumb shit like that. That doesn't matter. And it only kind of matters that the book is about a man who dresses up as a woman in order to get away with murder. That's like, even if trans people didn't exist, like if somehow gender dysphoria didn't exist and if we lived in a gender abolished society where there were no men and no women, people could still dress up how they wanted in order to look different and get away with crimes. What's the difference between a guy putting on a fake beard and mustache and wearing thick glasses and a hat, going into a bank, robbing it, and then on his, after he gets out of the bank, he takes all that shit off. No one's going to find him. or wearing clothes you would never wear and then disposing of those clothes. Like, I guess maybe I'm kind of arguing against my own side here, but my point is that I don't know if JK Rowling uses any kind of turf or anti trans rhetoric in her book. It doesn't matter. She is a turf. She is a transphobe. She does not like trans people. So buying her book, supporting these books is supporting transphobia, supporting transphobes. And I don't like that. Nobody who considers themselves an ally of trans people should like that, should support that. So again, it doesn't really matter whether the book itself in its text is transphobic. Although it probably is, let's be clear. The idea of it, the person who wrote it, is transphobic, so purchasing the book supports said transphobe. But I'm curious to see whether Blaire here has anything to say about any transphobia in the book.
Transphobic because of this, because it has a character who is a cis man who dresses as a woman when killing his victim. So right off the bat, I'm wondering what a cis man wearing a wig has to do with me as a trans woman and why I'm supposed to be outraged by the inclusion of this type of character in the book, but we'll get into that. Now, people are up in arms. People are burning the book. Let's start with that.
People are burning the book, shows this person burning a Harry Potter book. What? Yeah, and while the reader's perspective is an important part of interpretation, its meaning is impossible to completely divorce a work from its creator, particularly under capitalism, where a work will go to support the creator. This is the important. This is why we're saying don't buy these books. Again, at least if you absolutely have a burning need, you need a prop and can't fabricate one. You absolutely need a physical Harry Potter copy. Go to a thrift store. Go to a secondhand bookstore. Go to places like that to acquire them. Right. This is like everyone burning their Nikes or smashing their Keurigs when they came out as woke, because they already bought them. They already got their money. Now, granted, some of these. Now, I think that's a later edition, a more recent edition. I have the original Harry Potter books from when they were new. I got my copy. The one and only midnight sale for a book I've gone to was for Deathly Hallows. Yes, I mail ordered Half Blood Prince and Order of the Phoenix. I was given the first 4 books as Christmas presents or birthday presents, whatever. So I still have those copies. And this might be like a European or English copy. I don't know. I don't care. If you have the books, they've already gotten your money. So burning them is just depriving yourself of this thing, which, I mean, I have no interest in rereading the Harry Potter books. I've read them a dozen times because I used to be, still to a certain extent, uh, a massive Potterhead. I like the world. I think it's an interesting world with a lot of fuzzy edges that could be filled in by a more competent author. And I've, full disclosure, read a lot of really good fan fiction in the Harry Potter world. Good authors who have filled in those fuzzy edges, or in some cases have created a whole world based on the the outline of a world shown in the books. But if you're burning them, then they've already gotten your money. You're just destroying something. For virtue signaling to performatively be woke. This is performative. Now, if you really wanted to hurt her, you would burn shipments of her books. Not that I'm condoning that at all.
I mean, I hate to be the bearer of bad news to those that are going and buying the book and burning it. The money's still in her account. I have never,
Yeah, that's, as we've already discussed, yeah, she already got the money.
for the life of me, understood people who, because they're mad about a product or the creator of a product, go and buy the product just to destroy it on camera for clout.
Yeah.
That's a little dumb.
It's one thing, like, if I were to burn my copies, that's less performative, I think, than people who, like, go out and buy a copy to burn, or the people who burn their brand new Nikes or smash their brand new Keurig or whatever. Like, there's a little bit of a difference there. But I agree. Burning your books or smashing your burning your Nikes or whatever, it's performative bullshit and doesn't actually do anything. If anything, it gives them more money because at some point you're going to realize that you had no effect. And you really miss those Keurig coffees. You really miss those Nikes. That they felt really good. So you go out and buy another pair or buy another Keurig or whatever.
A lot of dumb. Also, the irony is not lost on me that I remember growing up when the books were still coming out, her original Harry Potter books, I'm sorry. And it's interesting because people have always burned her books. I am old enough to remember, back to me being old, that about 15 years ago, they were burning Harry Potter.
I'm 6 years older than you, Blaire. Shut the fuck up. But yeah, she's right here. Harry Potter has been protested, and it supposedly promoted witchcraft and Satanism and all sorts of things because it had witches and magic in it.
Potter books. Now, that was the religious, fundamental people who believed that it was witchcraft and that her books were evil and teaching children to be evil. So, the ultimate irony of things being so 180'd in recent years that it's now the woke brigade burning books, it's like, it's just, we had to take note of it.
Yeah, and just kind of as a general thing, don't burn books. Don't do that. People who burn books are the bad guys. Don't. If you don't like them, throw it. If you absolutely cannot stand to this goes without saying, don't go out and buy a book just to burn it or throw it away or shred it or whatever. That's completely stupid. But if, like me, you already owned the books, you've had them for years and years, and you decide you can't stand to continue having them on your shelf or just in a box somewhere, wherever they are, if you absolutely can't stand to have them in your home, and you want to performatively destroy them, okay. I mean, it's your property. I can't stop you. But give them away. Give them to a thrift store, a secondhand bookstore, or a library. Because while I agree to some extent with the people who reject death of the author, who say that you can't separate a book from it, separate a work from its creator, a creation from its creator. I also think that books are an amazing thing and that we should not be destroying them. Even ones that have bad ideas, and there's not a lot of. I don't really want to go into the ideas of the Harry Potter series. I think I've said it before in here, Harry Potter is a neoliberal's idea of a good world. Not a perfect world, but a good world. Where good triumphs over evil despite good giving in to some of the bad things evil did. I hated the fact that Harry used the Unforgivables in the 7th book. That was the worst thing. God damn it. The fact that, as I've said before, Arthur Weasley is supposed to be this Muggle expert. He's the head of the misuse of Muggle artifacts office, and yet he has no idea how electricity works. He has no idea what a telephone is or how it works. Has no idea how a television works. Um, just all these things that should be necessary for people who interact with the normal, the Muggle society. And this person is still considered a good person, a virtuous person. The hypocrisy is absurd. So I'm not saying that the books are 100% great. And like I said, it's a very fuzzy world. I think that's part of the reason why it's had so much fan fiction about it, is because great swaths of the world are left undefined. So you can fill in the blanks any way you want. But I do think there are some good things, especially in the first 5 books, about friendship, love, overcoming adversity, that kind of thing, that a lot of people identify with and will help a lot of people. So, if you're going to, if you absolutely need to get rid of the books, give them away. Let someone else find joy in those books, unless they truly do have some horrible, like Crockett just said, Nazi books. Like, yeah, maybe there are some books that don't need to be shared, but I'm still skeptical of the of. I'm still not okay with burning books. Eh. Mo, especially when we're talking about fiction books. Most fiction books at least have some redeeming qualities, but I'm open to being moved on that.
That. Along with burning her books, the hashtag rest in peace JK Rowling was trending on Twitter because what way to say, hey, trans people are not violent psychopaths than making a hashtag trend calling for the death of an author.
Holy shit, that's the opposite of, well, not the opposite, but this is this is like all the gaming nerds saying that Hatsune Miku made Minecraft once it became clear that Notch is a Nazi. They're saying, hey, as far as we're concerned, J.K. Rowling is dead. She we will no longer accept any contribution she makes to the cultural zeitgeist. We're no longer happy with having her in this space. We don't want her here. Fuck off. But it's not calling for her death. That's absurd.
I think that's effective activism, don't you? So honestly, we need to deep dive this one. But first, shout out to the sponsor of today's video,
Nope.
Anonymity. It adds that extra layer, but
This is a
you can use my
NordVPN stream.
code. The risks. I don't know how many came before it, but yeah. I didn't like the book, but that is not because it has anything to do with being transphobic or anything to do with transgender people in any capacity at all, by the way. If you only pay attention to the mob online and to social media and to people who are so desperate to attack JK Rowling, you would think this book is literally like a PSA against trans people, that it's a book that paints trans people as evil, as killers, etc. But no honest person who has actually
No, Blaire. What people are pointing out is that the premise of a cis man who dresses as a woman to kill things is kind of transphobic, and that it's written by an openly transphobic author who has stated unequivocally her lack of support for trans people. So, no, Blaire, it's not that trans people are, or it's not that the book is some treatise on why trans people are disgusting or why she hates, why trans women are all just misinformed men and trans men are just misguided lesbian sisters or what have you. It's the fact that the premise is kind of transphobic. Could be, depending on how it's written. I mean, I could definitely see a neutral writing of that premise that would not be transphobic. I could easily see that. But we have no reason to expect that kind of framing from Rowling. And again, the book does it. The contents of the book are much less important than purchasing and advocating for this book. Support transphobes.
Actually read the book. I mean, really read it. Not just reacted to a description or reacted to whatever. If you've actually seen it, there is no way you could feel that way. At the very most, the concept of being a transvestite makes a very quick, brief, fleeting appearance in the book, and it's extremely unimportant. It comes in the form of one line in the book, one page in a 900-page book. And it's where the killer is described in one of the instances of him snatching a woman up as wearing a disguise of a wig and a woman's coat. That's it. I'm not kidding. That's it. That is everything to do
Don't
that
care.
you could even
Okay,
remotely,
cool.
if you really stretch your mind, sort of bring that to the idea of transgenderism. And frankly, even getting rid of transgender, if you want to just call the killer a transvestite, that's almost even a stretch because it's just the disguise he's used to get women. It's not like that was his lifestyle or who he was, the character. I want to read this excerpt from a review on The Spectator that I completely agree with. Let me put it like this. When you reach the last pages, the full absurdity of the statement that Rowling's moral seems to be never trust a man in a dress will be revealed. And I completely agree because coming from the perspective of someone who did read this book in the last 24 hours, there's no honest, genuine way you can link the two. I mean, honestly, anyone coming to the conclusion that this somehow demonizes transgender people is either lying or has not read the book or is really, really nutty. At the very most, the cross-dressing community, if that's a thing, I don't even know, has a right.
Yes, drag is a massive community, so and often is conflated with the trans community because it's men in it's AMAB people in dresses or AFAB people in jeans. Just one more example of why gender is a fuck. You can say a man in a dress, and you automatically know that that's like either a cross dresser or a trans person. But there's no easy corollary for a woman in jeans because women wear jeans all the time. A woman in flannel, that's again super common, even for cis women. So gender is a fuck. But excuse me, it doesn't. So I haven't read the book. I have no intention of reading the book, and I know that Blaire is going to give us a biased example here. But the very fact that this is someone who dresses as a woman, puts on a dress and a wig to get his victims, maybe not explicitly, but that does lend credence to the anti-drag, anti-trans arguments. It strengthens them. It gives them ammunition, even in a fiction book.
To maybe feel away, but even then that would be ridiculous. I want to react to this video of this trans activist who appeared on Good Morning Britain. And by the way, this person is not actually trans. He's just a regular, random white dude speaking on behalf of trans people, the bane of my existence. Why does this always happen? Just another activist contributing to the stereotype that transgender people are thin-skinned, emotionally unstable crybabies who have no attachment to the real world. That is what this person's doing. Let's watch.
You're saying this is an example of hate against transgender people, even though it's not.
Rose of Dawn, how you doing? Of course she's on there. Holy shit. God, conservatives just... what do I think about healthcare for all? I support it. So Rose of Dawn gets to be on the news in England, which she's English, so I'm not like, oh, they brought an American over, whatever. I get it, but how big is Rose's channel again? She like 40K? Hey, Dodge, thanks for the resub, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, 39.2K subscribers. So just under 40K. Dystropho, this is not really the time or place to get into this argument, but in a nutshell, no, it's not more expensive. In fact, it would save, at least in the US, from what I remember, millions of dollars a year, because instead of paying all our money to, as far as the Medicare for All proposal by Bernie Sanders, instead of putting all this money into health insurance companies and paying them for it, we would pay a little bit more than we currently do in taxes, but less overall than we would pay for healthcare, and we would end up as a country paying less for healthcare.
Person.
I am indeed.
With respect, you haven't read the book, have you?
No, nobody's read the book besides a handful of.
And do you support the RIP JK Rowling hashtag?
I mean, I think if there's any sense of the people among those hashtags that we're saying.
This is so disingenuous. As I already said, whether he's read the book or not is irrelevant, because the issue we have with the book is not necessarily the content, although the synopsis that was released is kind of sketchy, but it's supporting transphobe JK Rowling. So whether he's read it or not is irrelevant. He's coming at it from the point of view of don't support a transphobe. But the follow-up question there of do you support the RIP JK Rowling hashtag? This is typical, do you support this bad thing that we have decided means we're threatening her life, when in reality RIP JK Rowling, maybe I'm the dumb one here. Maybe I'm not seeing it. I don't remember looking at the tweets under that hashtag. In fact, let's take a look at twitter.com. And let's look for neat. I figured out I wanted to search. Hashtag RIP JK Rowling. Helps if I spell Rowling right. Okay. Hate speech directed at women, the appalling hashtag. Okay. Suicide administrators at book review. If you see a hashtag you don't like, don't tweet about how you don't like it with the hashtag. That just makes it trend more. Yeah, all the people thinking RIP JK Rowling is a vicious death threat just do not understand millennial Gen Z humor. Yeah, it's... Yeah, just, if you're transphobic, we won't get along. RIP JK Rowling. Mom, can we get feminism? No way feminism at home. Feminism at home. JK Rowling. This is what it is. She is dead to us. RIP does not mean we need to kill this person. RIP means this person is dead. So, yeah. They're just wrong here. Dumb and wrong.
death threats or that she should be something like dead. That is clearly unbelievably unacceptable.
What would you like to happen to her then?
Well, what I would like is for people to not buy this book.
You haven't read the book, have you?
No.
So this is the
Cute there, Blaire, how you cut off him before he said, I just don't want people to buy this book. I want JK Rowling to live a long life where she eventually finds her ideas completely marginalized and ideally realizes how wrong and dumb she is. I don't think that's going to happen. I think she's probably going to live a long, wealthy, happy, successful life where her every idea is reinforced and she is constantly the validated and made to feel smart and clever and talented, and that she will never be her views will never be questioned. That's what's probably going to happen to her. I don't want her to die unnaturally. Obviously, she's going to die someday, but I don't want someone to kill her. I don't want. Honestly, I'm of the opinion that I don't want anything bad to happen to her. Not because I think she's a good person who doesn't deserve it. Because I'm on Twitch and I don't want someone to clip me saying that I want her to be killed or anything stupid like that. I want her to learn. As the Riddler said, if you kill him, he won't learn nothing. This is why I don't believe in killing people or killing our enemies or punitive justice in general. If you kill someone, if you lock someone away in isolation or what have you, they don't learn anything. They can't be educated. They can't learn why what they think is wrong. But if you teach them, I want to avoid the whole re-education idea that a lot of people associate with like the Soviet Union, with communist regimes around the world, because that has a lot of negative connotations. But rehabilitation, education, teaching someone why they're wrong. Now, some people, like Blaire White, like probably JK Rowling, know, probably, I don't know how much JK Rowling knows. I'm confident that Blaire White knows why she is wrong, but she doesn't care because she has a 1 million subscriber YouTube channel and makes probably millions of dollars a year, at least hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, pandering to this transphobic, transmedicalist audience. And so she has a financial incentive to not change her tune, even if she does even if she does agree with sociologists, biologists, scientists of all stripes, that she's wrong. So I don't think that calling for the death of a creator or whatever is good, even if it were like socially acceptable or not likely to get you deplatformed. I don't think it's a good idea. I think we are better off teaching people the error of their ways, telling people why they're wrong, giving them the information, and then letting that information germinate. Work for Hunter Avalone.
perfect example of the type of person that I'm seeing online who is reacting in a hateful way to this book, hasn't read it, but is more than completely down to jump on the hate mob simply because people they consider to be their ideological colleagues are doing the same thing. In other words, mob mentality.
No. You cut off before he could talk about what he wanted from Rip JK Rowling, but the fact of the matter is, as I've said over and over again, and I don't know if I'm going to keep watching this because she just seems to keep saying the same thing over and over again, and as a consequence, so do I. The problem is buying this book, promoting this book, or any of her other works promotes transphobia and a transphobe. Again, even if Blaire is 100% correct here, that there's nothing in the book that supports, oh, don't trust a man in a dress, you know, trans women are just men in disguise trying to get into women-only spaces so they can rape and kill women. You know, even if that's the case, even if there is nothing of that in this book, I do not care. Supporting this book is supporting a transphobe, is supporting her ideas, reinforcing the message she puts out, and she doesn't need that help. She doesn't need that. So, I don't care what else you have to say here. You're not putting it up because you think that you might get, you don't want to spoil the book or whatever. Cool. I don't care. I've stopped caring about JK Rowling, except when she does something stupid. And so, yeah, hopefully this will be the last we hear of J.K. Rowling, but probably not. She's got 4 million Twitter followers. Her books are basically instant bestsellers because she's got enough middle-aged wine moms and nerds like me who look at her shit uncritically and don't care about her politics or whatever. They just think she's a really good writer. Which I agree. She's not a good writer. She wrote an interesting story, and I think in more than one case promised much more than she delivered in multiple instances. Maybe that was just because I was... it's been interesting, actually, for me, because I was there... Like I said, so I got the first 3 books, like as a Christmas present, and then I got the 4th book right around the time it came out. But this was before the internet was a thing the way it is now. There were certainly some internet. The internet was certainly a thing, but there wasn't the fan sites and what have you that there are now. By the time the 5th and 6th book had rolled out, I got more involved in online discourse, so I saw a lot of theories about this or that, particularly before the 6th book came out and the idea of Horcruxes were revealed. There was a lot of discussion about various subjects, various things. And a lot of ideas thrown around, and it's been interesting to me since I started reading the Game of Thrones books, seeing a lot of the same things, and especially going back and reading ideas that were that subsequently changed or proven correct or incorrect, mostly incorrect, about those books. So, fuck J.K. Rowling. Rip J.K. Rowling. We don't care. Just nobody's going to be able to stop her from writing. She could stop writing and would definitely be able to live in comfort and opulence for the rest of her life, just from the residuals from what she's already written. But no one is going to be able to stop her from writing. But fuck it. We're done. J.K. Rowling is over. Harry Potter is done. Just let it all in. Hey, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the show. Remember to like, share, and leave a comment because it helps me. Subscribe and ring that bell to help you. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.